Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about the new Marvel Multiverse tabletop role-playing game. And specifically, I want to talk about why did Marvel decide to make this game? So they are currently making Marvel Superheroes 6e tabletop role-playing game. This will be the sixth time Marvel has had a distinct tabletop role-playing game. And there's a big question of why are they doing this? Because I'll tell you right now, I never thought they would do this again. So here we are. So let's look at the reasons why they would not do this. There are very good reasons for massive IPs, massive intellectual properties to not make tabletop role-playing games. So, first of all, if you're not aware, Harry Potter has never been made into a tabletop role-playing game. It is by far the most famous IP that has refused to ever allow a tabletop role-playing game. Okay. And that's over 20 years old, right? It's 2 decades and people have been asking for it. Honestly, it's the only thing I'd be more excited about than a new Marvel tabletop role-playing game, right? So basically, the reason why I think large intellectual properties avoid tabletop role-playing game is, first and foremost, they make junk money. They just make absolutely terrible money. I'm convinced you would make more money putting Marvel on towels than you would on tabletop role-playing games. They just are a terrible, terrible, terrible business model. It's undebatable, right? No one gets rich in tabletop role-playing games. No one. They're like literally no one, right? So just just be aware of that, right? So they are a horrible business model. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, you got no money. You got virtually no money coming in, right? You ain't doing this for money. Like, tabletop role-playing games don't really make any real money. D&D aside, right? D&D is a little bit different, and even D&D is outrageously a tiny amount of money, right? It's not even $1 billion a year, right? So why, right? I think this is really fascinating. So not only that, but you risk your intellectual property where. If you make let's do it this way. Marvel makes this 6e game, right? Marvel makes this Marvel Superheroes 6e tabletop role-playing game. Game Master opens up the book and runs a 4-session campaign with 4 players. They tell an amazing story, okay? Who owns that story? Does Marvel own that story? Does the Game Master own that story? Do the players own that story, right? With Marvel characters. That's a fascinating question, and I'll tell you right now, I'm convinced the U.S. legal system does not know the answer to that question because it's never even been actually adequately asked in court, right? So that's the second reason. So why on earth would Marvel actually make this tabletop role-playing game? Well, I'll give you the reason. I'm not going to bury the lead here. So here it is. I think they're doing it because they're smart enough to understand that they actually need their world-building information. They need to know if Hulk is stronger than Thor. There is no better way in the world to answer that question than to codify it in a tabletop role-playing game. And the reason why is you will get fantastic feedback from the smartest people in the world. The second you put your game out for free, you'll get lots of people giving you adjustments to your canon, right? And you will get the kind of people who care incredibly a lot about detail. And you could sell it to them. And you could sell it to them again and again and again. Just change the number in front of the E, and you could sell the same books to them 10 years later at an inflated rate, right? Now, as bad as the business model is for tabletop role-playing games, it's the one platform that will turn your world building into money. So that's the reason I think they're making it. What do you think? Why do you think Marvel is making this tabletop role-playing game? Love to hear your thoughts. And when you give your answer, remember, Harry Potter has never allowed it, right? So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.